I caught a charge. I had got in an altercation and shot somebody. And they tried to charge me with 4 attempted murders.
Oh, shit.
Because I shot in the crowd.
K Shordy went from sliding on the ops to snitching on them, then spinning right back like nothing ever happened. Now he's sitting on a 12-year sentence after ticking off the wrong judge, with a whole potential life sentence still hanging over his head for murder. The twist? He's begging one of his biggest enemies to testify in his defense. This wild back-and-forth story is straight out of a movie, but for K Shorty, it's real life, and it's messy. See, K Shordy could have been the next big rapper out of Jacksonville, no cap. His buzz was real, the numbers were rising, and the streets were backing him heavy. But somehow the same hunger that got him to the top is what brought him down. So today, we're breaking down how this man went from viral rapper to self-destruction in real time. K Shorty grew up on the north side of Jacksonville, right in 6-block territory at the Hilltop Apartments, a place where survival is the first lesson you learn. His mom did everything she could: food, clothes, a roof, love. But K Shorty had a different kind of hunger. He wanted that street glow. The chains, the Jordans, the status. So by 13 years old, he was off the porch and deep in the mix, chasing fast money and street fame. At first, he moved smart. He knew when to stay low, when to slide, and when to disappear.
All the people that I looked up to that influenced me to do the stuff that I do, they're locked up. So it's like, what made me think I'm different?
But once he turned 16, the game caught up with him. He got slapped with 4 attempted murder charges. It all started from a fight. One dude tried to snatch his strap and K Shorty fired back. The problem? There was a crowd right behind his target, and that meant 4 counts of attempted murder instead of 1. On top of that, police already had a warrant out for an armed carjacking, and they caught him lacking in a stolen whip. K Shorty knew the system had him in a chokehold. 4 bodies on paper, a stolen car, and no way out. But somehow, luck played in his favor. The attempted murders got dropped to assault with a deadly weapon, and instead of decades, he walked away with just 18 months in juvie. It should have been his wake-up call. But instead, it was just the beginning of his downfall. After K Shorty started blowing up in the rap game, he sat down with Dirty Glove Bastard for an interview that hit deep. He kept it real and said straight up, "Everyone I looked up to in the streets is either dead or locked up." That was the first time fans saw a different side of him, a side that knew the streets don't love nobody. But even with that self-awareness, K Shorty couldn't escape the pull of that lifestyle. He said he wanted out, but every time he tried, violence pulled him right back in. K Shorty was trying to separate himself from the chaos. He wanted to rap, travel, make money, live different.
When he got killed, it wasn't for him. Like, and that's just me being real. Like, before he died, a week before he died, I called him on the jail phone, and I see you out there. If you return, I see you with Julio, you doing. I was like, but don't get caught up in that, bro. I was like, you know how bad they want him. They'll get to anybody just to hurt him.
But once his close friends started getting killed, it was like his heart hardened overnight. He was surrounded by pain, revenge, and paranoia, and it changed how he moved completely. See, K Shorty and Lil BB came up together in the Hilltop Apartments. Same hallways, same dreams, same hunger. They were like brothers. But while K Shorty was sitting behind bars, BB started linking up with Julio more often. Now, Julio was older, respected and feared. A certified name in Jacksonville's drill scene. Shorty saw it coming from a mile away. He warned BB straight up, "Fall back from Leo. His name's too hot right now." But BB didn't listen. And tragedy struck. Not long after, BB was brutally gunned down, allegedly when Xu slid through Hilltop and unleashed shots that ended BB's life. His death shattered K Shorty completely. In that same Dirty Glove Bastard interview, K Shorty said the only reason BB got killed was because he was hanging around Julio. And that moment, Lil BB's death, is allegedly what sent K Shorty spiraling right back into the streets for revenge. After BB's death, K Shorty turned all the way up in the streets. He wasn't just rapping about drill life anymore. He was living it for real. By early 2020, his name was ringing out heavy in Jacksonville. Every op knew who he was, and by March 17, 2020, the tension exploded. That night, K Shordy allegedly slid on the ops and took out a man named Daquan Saxton. Word spread fast, and so did revenge. Just one day later, the streets struck back hard. The very next night, the ops spun the block and shot up K Shorty's mom's house. Bullets tore through the walls, sending a message clear as day. This wasn't over. K Shordy had a massive target on his back, but instead of laying low, he tried to act normal. The day after the shooting, he went on a date with his girlfriend, Anandi Weiss. Anandi wasn't built for the streets. She was a sweet, ambitious cheerleader, getting ready to go off to college at Florida A&M. Her parents had just bought her first car a few months earlier. That same car would tragically become the scene of her last night alive. After their date, Anandi drove K Shordy home to drop him off. But before they could even say goodbye, two shooters jumped out and opened fire on her whip. Bullets flew everywhere. K Shordy was hit, but Anandi didn't make it out alive. The city was heartbroken. Everyone knew she wasn't the target. Later, it came out that one of the shooters was related to Daquan Saxton, the same man K Shordy allegedly killed 2 days before.
Hello?
Mom,
Hello?
I don't know what's going on, but they say I've been charged with murder.
Stop lying, Travis.
I promise.
Man, don't tell me this, baby. What the fuck?
I don't know what's going on, Mom, but they said this.
It was straight retaliation. A few months later, police arrested Roland Ball and Avian Porter for the hit. Witnesses came forward identifying Roland as one of the shooters. And when cops searched Avian's phone, they found the smoking gun, text messages where he admitted to pulling the trigger, saying it was, "Get back for my brother, Daquan Saxton." What nobody knew at first was that K Shordy himself was cooperating with detectives.
Was it true that they call you Simone Salem? In the jailhouse?
I'm sorry, say what?
In the jailhouse, they call you Send 'em home Salem.
Send him home, Salem?
I guess.
He pointed out Roland Ball in a photo lineup and said that was the man who shot him the night Anandi died. Later, though, he tried to take the statement back. He told people the cops manipulated him, that they played on his emotions and said, "If you really cared about Anandi, you'll help us find who did it." Years later, K Shordy changed his story again, claiming he only named Roland because everyone was already saying his name in the streets. But the court wasn't buying it. They already had text messages from Avian's phone, where he bragged, "I got one under my belt, his girl. Me and my brothers did that because they killed my brother." Even though Avian claimed Anandi wasn't supposed to die, their bullets didn't discriminate that night. They aired out her car like it was war. And in 2025, justice came full circle. Roland Ball was convicted for Anandi's murder and sentenced to life in prison without parole. But for K Shordy, that verdict didn't bring peace. It only left him deeper in guilt, grief, and a reputation that would soon haunt him in court. What's wild about this mess is K Shordy flipped sides and helped the cops lock some of his ops up, but he kept sliding in the streets and allegedly kept catching bodies. At the same time, he jumped in the booth and started dropping music, trying to split the life between rapping and running the block. In early 2021, he dropped a track that sounded like a warning shot for anyone still playing, and people felt that heat instantly. On that record, he made it clear the streets hadn't cooled off. People dying didn't slow nobody down, and he painted a brutal picture of the countdown to violence. He said if someone ain't talking homicide, then his crew ain't with the fake rappers. People want to test him and think that's a move. K Shordy was still heated at Folio because he blamed Folio for Lil BB's death, and that tension followed him into every line he spit, making the songs feel like live wire confessions. The Julio angle made things worse. Julio's mom even got shot from the fallout, and that pushed K Shordy further toward revenge than reconciliation. He made it clear he wouldn't sit quiet if someone's mom got hit. That loss changes how you move fast and makes calm impossible. 6 Block had already taken heavy hits when Spa 2X died at the Hilltop Apartments, and the block was tense and watching for any slip-up. The day after, Rod K got killed in the same spot, and the silence from Folio only fueled rumors that he didn't do anything to avenge those losses. K Shorty called him out hard on records, accusing him of talking tough but doing nothing in real life. The music turned into a public test of who was real, and the whole city started reading between the lines of every verse. While K Shorty was locked up after BB's death, Julio promised studio time and help. But when Shorty came home, Folio didn't come through, and that felt like a betrayal. So Shorty put the truth on wax, naming who was active and who was fronting. The tracks became a heated back and forth that blurred studio drama and street rage, and fans ate it up while tension kept rising. Folio clapped back on the track, and the lyrical war kept the neighborhood watching. Both sides traded shots in bars and social posts, and that only raised the stakes for anyone still walking the trenches. The diss records made events feel like they were about to spill from speakers into the streets at any moment. A few months later, K Shorty got shot for real. Police found him bleeding from a leg wound in the same area where bullets had been flying. They also recovered a rifle, a hoodie with a mask, and shell casings around him. All signs that the line between his rap persona and real-life violence was gone and danger was non-stop. Even after getting shot, K Shorty stayed in headlines, part rapper, part street figure, part target. The mixtape life and the trench life mixed until nobody could tell whether he was chasing clout, revenge, or both. This saga proves how fast the game flips. 1 minute you're in the booth, the next you're dodging bullets and wondering who has your back in a town of shaky loyalties. When the cops showed up that night, they were convinced K Shorty had just been in a full-blown shootout with the ops. Shells everywhere, blood on the ground. It looked like a war zone. It took investigators a few months to test the gun and the hoodie they found near him. But when the lab results came back, it was over. K Shorty's DNA was on both. They booked him immediately as a gang-related felon in possession of a firearm, and that charge alone could have buried him. But here's where it gets wild. K Shorty was his own worst enemy. His music had been blowing up fast, but he couldn't stop telling on himself in songs. During the trial for his gun case, prosecutors literally pulled up his track On Yo Ass and used it as evidence. In that song, he described the whole scene of him getting shot like a movie. Ah, shit. How the fuck I dropped my BBL? I'm losing blood and shit. They still shooting now. I done crawled to the bushes, laying in bugs and shit, and I started stripping. Had to get rid of the mask, get the fuck away from that pole. Wait till they come. Cracker's gonna ask me what happened, and I ain't gonna tell him a soul. That's not just lyrics. That's basically a confession in HD. And he didn't stop there. In another track, Dead Ends, he rapped, "Dead endings hop out, let that lead hit 'em. I ain't got no ops, them numbs cops, and they some leg hitters. Boy, I know the real you. You let YouTube get your head bigger." The prosecutors used his own words to paint him as a violent, active shooter who couldn't stay away from the trenches. And it worked. Still, K Shorty managed to bond out after catching the gun charge. But instead of laying low, reports say he jumped right back into the streets, and this time, it got even darker. A few months later, he allegedly spun the block again, and a man named No Face ended up dead. But here's the catch. Most people say No Face wasn't even the target. Word on the streets was that he just happened to be with Spinnabenz, who had been taunting K Shorty for months. Spinnabenz went viral after posting a video mocking K Shorty, showing him dancing in his bathroom and clowning him with a diss track where he said, "I don't smoke, Kendra. My daughter, she like me, she be in school and she don't play. There's twerking in the bathroom, look y'all, he's so gay." That video lit the internet up, and it turned their beef personal. Both sides started dissing each other's dead homies in music, and things hit a boiling point by September 2021. That's when K Shorty and his homie Tufo allegedly caught Spinnabenz, Greenlight and No Face lacking at a gas station on Lenox Avenue. The three of them were chilling in a Dodge Challenger, minding their business when suddenly a black Range Rover pulled up, and shots started flying. Witnesses say bullets tore through the parking lot like fireworks. Spinnabenz and Greenlight sprinted into the gas station trying to dodge the gunfire, but No Face took a bullet straight to the head. By the time the smoke cleared, he was rushed to the hospital, but he didn't make it. No Face was pronounced dead, and once again, the streets of Jacksonville were mourning another young life lost to a beef that started with music and ended in murder. The tragedy didn't just shake the block, it made K Shorty's name even louder. Fans couldn't tell if he was rapping about the life or living it. But either way, his music started sounding more like evidence than entertainment. The cops knew exactly what they were looking for. that black Range Rover seen fleeing the scene of the gas station shooting. Less than 24 hours later, the gang unit spotted the same whip cruising through the Woodland Acres community. They tried to pull it over, but the driver wasn't stopping for anyone. That ride turned into a high-speed chase through Jacksonville and ended when the Range Rover slammed straight into a pole. When the dust settled, guess who popped out? K Shordy and his homie LaCracker. Both of them jumped out the whip trying to make a run for it, but cops were already on them. Officers caught them before they could get far, and when they searched the car, it was game over. Shell casings from the gas station scene were inside the same Range Rover. That meant the car they were riding in wasn't just suspicious. It was evidence on wheels. But here's where it gets even crazier. The Range Rover belonged to Tufo's mom. That's right. Instead of stealing a random car or burning it after the hit, they slid in his homie's mom's vehicle. If K Shordy had used a stolen whip and torched it after the crash, the case might have gone cold. But by using a car that could be traced right back to someone in his own circle, he practically gift-wrapped the evidence for the police. Once they brought K Shordy in, detectives hit him with the big one: murder charges. He had to make that heartbreaking call to his mom from the station. His voice cracked when he said, "I don't know what's going on, Mama." They said this. That was the moment his whole street dream started collapsing. But before facing the murder trial, K Shordy still had another battle: his gun case. The one with his DNA all over the weapon, the hoodie, and the scene. From the start, things were looking ugly. The evidence was tight, and prosecutors were ready to paint him as a violent gang member who couldn't stay out of trouble. Now, catching a gun case alone ain't always a career ender. Rappers bounce back from those. But K Shordy fumbled the entire bag when he opened his mouth in court. After being convicted, he had the chance to speak to the judge before sentencing, a moment that could have saved him years. He could have played the card of a young man changing his life, a rapper with a future, someone who wanted redemption. But instead, he got cocky. When the judge asked if he had anything to say, K Shordy said, "They call me Send Me Home Salem." That line didn't just stun the courtroom, it infuriated the judge. Instead of showing remorse, he acted like the system was a joke. So the judge decided to make an example out of him. That single moment, one arrogant sentence, turned what could have been a light sentence into a 12-year hit behind bars. And just like that, the streets lost another rising rapper to ego, chaos, and bad choices that cost him everything. Judge Anthony Salem was known around Jacksonville as one of the more lenient judges, the kind who gave young offenders a shot at redemption. But when K Shordy tried to clown him in open court by calling him Send Me Home Salem, that mercy went right out the window. The judge took it personal. He slammed the gavel and sentenced K Shordy to 12 years in prison on his gun charge. 12 years behind bars for a gun case alone is heavy, but what's hanging over his head next could be way worse. If K Shordy doesn't beat his next charge, the murder of No Face, he's facing life. And the situation got so desperate that by 2024, word broke that K Shorty's defense team was trying to get one of his biggest ops, Spinnabenz, to testify for him in court. That move shocked everybody. Fans, the streets, even Spinnabenz himself. When the news hit the blogs, Spinnabenz aired K Shordy out on Instagram. He posted that when he went to trial, he didn't bring anyone to the courtroom except his lawyer. No friends, no homies, no favors. Then he turned his pain into music, dropping the track Badass Day, where he rapped with pure emotion. Them Anans sprayed up my whole side, I ain't get hit. I'm still confused. I still hear Face's voice in my head. I know we got some shit to do. See, I ain't nothing like these knobs. They still got something to prove. Me, I done damn near lost it all. I ain't got shit left to lose. That song hit hard, showing just how deep the loss of No Face cut. And when Spinnabenz found out K Shordy wanted him to testify for the defense, he dropped another track, Letter to K Shorty. In it, he snapped back, saying, "First of all, I ain't put you ends in this position. Second of all, ain't nobody helped me when I was in it. Third thing I gotta say is y'all act like I walked you out the front door, made you jump off the porch, but I didn't. It's obvious you nuts vulnerable, and it's making me uncomfortable. That diss sealed it. Whatever slim chance there was of Spinnabenz helping K Shordy in court was gone forever." The streets saw it as the final nail in their beef. No truce, no alliance, no forgiveness. Now the biggest question is, how much real evidence do the cops have on K Shordy for No Face's murder? Rumors in Jacksonville say his own homie, Tufo, might have already started talking. People close to the case claim Tufo's been in long interrogations, and word is he's giving up names and details to save himself. See, K Shordy used to brag on Wax about his work in the streets. On the track Let's Do It, he rapped, "They want to know how many bodies I touched. I say about 4. Shit so crazy cause I hit plenty nubs and it could have been more. Terrorizing all my ops. Fuck 1200 and fuck 00." If those lyrics are even half true, Tufo probably knows every single story behind those lines. And if he decides to spill, that could mean life in prison for K Shordy. But here's the crazy twist. Insiders say K Shordy might be considering flipping too. After watching everyone around him either die, snitch, or disappear, he's realizing the streets he bled for don't come with loyalty. And now, sitting in that cell, the same rapper who once said, "I ain't telling a soul," might be the next one ready to talk. Because when the walls start closing in, even the toughest realize survival beats silence every time.